Page 30, Oh Holy Night. It's a beautiful piece of music. I'm going to go through my routine for learning it. Let's see what happens. I look it over, I see it's 4 pages long. It's got repeat signs, so it's really longer than that. But the point is I only have about 4 pages of music to learn. Okay. Treble and bass clef at the beginning. No sharps or flats. We're either in the key of C major or A minor. If I look at the end, bottom of page 30, 33, is that it? Yeah, I'm here. The last 2 measures. That's a C major chord. I figure we're in C major. As far as the scales go, though, I'm going to do the scale for C major and A minor, because A minor also has no sharps or flats. And I do the scales and arpeggios according to the key signature. It's in 6/8 time, which is why there's eighth notes all over the place. That's okay, because each one gets a count. I want to take it one hand at a time and make sure I understand what the hands are doing, and I want to try and connect everything with the fingers if I can. So the right hand, you're only playing a couple of notes here, and then the third measure you hear 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And let's see, I just took advantage of the repeated notes to change hand positions. I could play the first note in measure 3 with the thumb. Because I was here, I could come up and do it again, because I got there's 2 beats of rest in there that you don't see because of the way they printed the music. Rest, rest. I can do that. But 3 is fine too, because we can change hand positions on repeated notes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2, 3, tie, 2. Then measure 7, 1, 2, and then 5. This way I'm in position to go on. You're just doing a lot of this changing hand positions on repeated notes. Let's go over to page 32, somewhere around measure 29. You have the dotted half note. And you're going to hold that down forever and then go on here. And then third finger. Again, it's a repeated note. We can do that. And then 2, 3. And then 3. You get that, I hope? No biggie. It's all pretty clear, I think. Left hand. Left hand's got broken chords here. 1, 1. Use a C chord. I'm just transferring weight from finger to finger. And the wrist will do its little circle thing, but it does it on its own. I don't make it happen. It does whatever it wants to do. I'm just staying relaxed. Don't tighten up and play with a stiff wrist. Stay relaxed. And I'm transferring weight from finger to finger. It's like walking on the keyboard. Measure 5, it's an F chord. Okay, that's really all we're doing in the left hand. Now you get over measure 17, you're down here. And 4. On measure 29 again, you have the chords 1, 2, 3, and they come up. And it's an A minor chord with E on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 1. Going on. It's no biggie, I hope. At the bottom of page 33, the last measure, that is left hand. The LH is left. You just come over to the right and play the C and F by themselves. All right. Then I'll put the hands together, and again, I want to try and connect everything, but I might hesitate. I don't care about hesitating when I first put the hands together. I just want to know which fingers are going down at the same time. We're doing this. See, this first 2 measures, the way they've done this, a lot of publishers do this, and I don't care for it, but they're doing it, so we'll deal with it. Every measure should have 6 counts in it, and if you look at this, it doesn't. What they've done is they combine the 2 stabs together for the counting. So you have to consider both stabs together to get 6 counts. Otherwise, they really should have rests in these for when you're not. But just consider it all part of one staff, and it's all. Then we're here, and then here, and then here. And the right hand comes up here. Hold that down. So you go through and put the hands together. Then go back through and get rid of the hesitations. So the steady beat, these pulses, eighth note pulses, 1, 2, 3, 4. are steady throughout the whole piece. And then I'll think about the articulation, which in this piece you're connecting. It's phrasing. Lift up. Lift up. Of course, then you have to lift up. Lift up between the phrases in the right hand, and the left hand, connect it. Connect it all as best you can. For instance, in measure 4, when you're here, I'm going to lift up here, but not here. So there's silence, but not here. I'm connecting all this. So I'm lifting up here, but not here. I'm connecting this left hand all the way through, but I'm lifting up in the right hand. If you have trouble with that, again, go back to the scale. As you're playing the C major scale, play one hand disconnected and the other hand connected. You get the idea? Or switch it, do it both. Because the melody could be in either hand, so you got to be able to do it in either hand at any time. So it's good practice. I mean, you're practicing the scales anyway, I hope, so you can practice this other stuff while you're doing the scales. Now, once I have the articulation, then I think about the dynamics. MP is mezzo piano, which is sort of soft. You have to decide what that is because it depends on your situation. But then when I get to measure 3, the melody is sort of soft. The left hand's got to go down in the background. At the beginning, both hands are that way. The left hand has... So you're getting soft all of a sudden. The hairpin in measure 5, go up to about moderately loud. And back down. Now the hairpin in measure 6, that's going to happen by itself. But it just dies away. Just keep the left hand in the background. Now at the bottom of page 31, on measure 20, now you go up to moderately loud. Moderately loud, whatever you think. The left hand's still in the background. It's just adding a little more excitement here. And then on measure 28, you're here moderately loud. This is moderately loud. And then loud. In the right hand. Left hand's still in the background. See, all the time I'm doing this, I want to hear that. Don't drown it out. Now I might mention a couple little details here. In the left hand, a measure 28, you're here, here, and then for the next one you're going to go down to here. Well, you can prepare that if you want. I missed it before. You use 4th finger for the dotted half note. Here. That way the little finger's ready. Here. Also, let's be accurate on how long we're holding these notes down. Even though it may not affect the sound, we still want to be accurate. For instance, measure 34. You're here. This is tied and you're doing that. And then you're doing this. Those are together. And then lift up. You lift up the left hand when you do the quarter note. But don't lift the... No, leave the left hand down. So be accurate on how long you're holding these notes down. Even though the pedal's going to cover it up. I'll talk about the pedal in a little bit. Now on measure, 41, you're going back down to soft. Moderately soft. And measure 43, this left hand is what you're going to crescendo. You're very soft, little louder, little louder. Go back to about a moderately loud in there. Because this needs to be loud. They have the F on the next measure. No, the F belongs on the pickup beat. You're loud here, here. And that goes to the melody, it's the right hand. The left hand needs to stay in the background, but on measures 43 and 44, it's the left hand that's crescendoing because the right hand can't do anything, it's done, it's just hit. You get the idea that it gives the illusion that the right hand is actually crescendoing when it's not. Because the left hand is crescendoing, you think, oh, the right hand, we're getting okay. And then measure 47, you go very loud. Very loud. Here, and the left hand is maybe loud. Come down. Moderately loud, and the left hand soft. And here, it's moderately soft. And again, leave that left hand down until that fermata, hang on to that for a little bit, and then go on. Moderately soft. Here, and the left hand soft. As far as the speed goes, moderately doesn't say a lot. It's the overall feel of the piece. It's not the speed of the beat, it's the feel of the piece. This is... that's how you want that to just kind of flow. The beat will do whatever it's got to do. Because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's fast. That's moving. But we're not feeling the speed of the beat. It's the feel of the piece we're after. Now they've added pedal, which is nice. We like to have the overtones. The overlapping pedal. You can pedal it like they're showing if you want. If you want to hear the phrasing, you got to lift the pedal up with the right hand for the phrases. If you're connecting the left hand, that'll help because then you'll still have sound going even if you lift the pedal. So it's at the beginning, I push the notes down and then the pedal. Change it after I play the notes. See, I'm lifting the pedal with the hand. Measure 5. It's a little much for me. So I'm going to change the pedal in the middle of the measure to keep it a little cleaner. It's a personal thing. On measure 7, I'll lift the pedal. I want to hear the phrasing. I'm lifting the pedal on beat 6 because I want to keep it clean. You don't have to. Because it goes by really quick. It doesn't last that long. You have to listen to the effect the pedal is having and adjust it if you don't like it. Experiment a little bit and see. Take a look at measure 20 here. Well, on 19 you're finishing. I want this dotted half note on measure 19 to end. I don't want it to keep going. That's melody. The E on measure 20 is not melody. There needs to be a difference. See, so this is out a little bit, but that's background. So I'm going to change the pedal there. And then I'm going to lift up. So here there'll be a little bit of silence here because the left hand isn't playing. Here. Now you have repeated notes. If you want to connect the repeated notes, you got to pedal it. Here, I'll leave that up to you. There. So the pedaling, you have to be very picky with the pedaling. Well, I think you do. I'm a picky pedaler. I hope you will be too. Let's go over to measure 28. You're here. Lift up. You can go ahead and connect this part here. And I don't pedal that. I want to hear the rest in the left hand. I don't agree with pedaling that. No, I'm going to clear that out here. Again, measure what? 29? On measure 34, I want to lose this, so I'm going to change the pedal there. But I need to pedal these notes because they're repeated. I want to connect them. So. 40. I don't pedal those notes. We're coming down now. You get it? Measure 43 is here. The measure lift, change it on measure 44, so we hear the rest in the left or right hand, and then change it again for that. I want that by itself, and then change it again. Now you can leave it down because the left hand's staying down. And on measure 48, if you don't want all that because we're coming down, then change it partway through the measure. Now finally they tell you not to pedal. Isn't that nice? Actually, because you have a fermata on that note that's going to hold it out, you could pedal that note only, so we get overtones, so we color the note. So don't pedal the B, so it's... You can pedal that one note, and then don't pedal the D, and then here. Something like that. Experiment with the pedal. Don't let it get too mushy. If you want to hear the phrasing, you gotta lift the pedal up. Now, there is a page turn here, and that's a bit of a problem. I can't legally tell you to copy the music. That's not legal. It's copyrighted music. No. Can't say that. So we go through what are the possibilities for doing a page turn? Well, the number one choice is memorize all or part of the piece. You either memorize the whole thing or memorize 2 pages, either 30-31 or 32-33, whatever. If you can't do that, then maybe there's somebody there who can read music, who can turn the page for you. Because with the multiple verses, you're going back and forth here. Well, if you can't do that, it means you got to do it yourself. So then we got to figure out, how do we get this page turned, going back and forth, without messing up the beat. Please don't mess up the beat because you're turning a page. No. But that's a struggle because there's eighth notes going on constantly in the left hand. I mean, there's just no time really, because you don't want to leave out melody notes. Don't leave out melody notes. You're going to leave out something else. Well, that means the left hand. That means these eighth notes in the left hand. So somewhere around the page turn from 31 to 32, we got to figure out what notes in the left hand to leave out. You leave out as few as possible, and it's up to you what you leave out. Just leave out as few as possible and get the page turned as quickly as you can with the left hand and go on. Now when you get to the bottom of page 33, if you're going to repeat, then measure 51, you're here. Actually, you can play the C in the left hand. Just go there. Here. This way you got time for the right hand to turn the page back. So you can do the whole mess all over again, right? If you want to do it that way. That's kind of handy. Another thing you can try and do is something similar to that for turning from 31 to 32. Because in the right hand you got, and here you, well, if I can do that, if I can keep some eighth notes in that chord, it's this chord. If I can just play notes in the chord as eighth notes, that would work. So I could go here, so maybe that. If I can do that in the right hand, I have eighth notes going. They're not the ones written. Don't care. It's in the harmony. There. And while I'm doing that, then I can turn real quick with the left hand, and I don't have to leave out any notes. You might need to memorize one measure or so. But that's another possibility. We do practice page turns in piano if we have to. If you're going to perform it for people and you're going to have to do this page turn, you do it. Yeah. For this lesson, I'm not going to repeat back to page 30. I'm going to just go on and just go, because I can't do this page turn very well.